Hum, hum, hum.
She gave me the tea.
Hum,
I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I think Miss Novak is manipulating our children.
Hey, I'm going to talk about the thriller movie Club Zero today. There are spoilers ahead. Be careful and watch out. At the beginning of the movie, we meet Miss Novak, a nutrition teacher at a fancy private school.
Because conscious eating will enable you to achieve everything you have just named. It will enable you to make a contribution towards saving the planet. You will improve your fitness. You will optimize your self-control.
This information indicates that the school only hired her to encourage students to eat well. A few people have joined her club so far, and she asks them why they chose to do so. Helen, a girl, says she wants to save the Earth and slow down global warming.
Protecting the environment is extremely important to me, and I hope that conscious eating will contribute to reducing global warming.
Ragna, another girl, says she wants to lose weight and get in shape for sports. Elsa and Fred are next up. Elsa wants to be more disciplined, and Fred has diabetes and wants to stay fit.
Healthy nutrition is a core part of a sustainable lifestyle.
Finally, there's a student named Ben, who says he's only here to get a grade for his grant. Everyone said they were there because Miss Novak was hot, but they lied. Miss Novak thanks them for joining the club and gives them a quick rundown of what conscious eating is. It means cutting back on food without getting hungry. She talks about the benefits of eating less and states that the body needs less food than most people think. Then Miss Novak shows them a breathing exercise that will help them enjoy the food more and eat with more awareness. Students who do this exercise notice a change in their mood and hunger right away. After their meeting, Miss Novak meets the director, who makes her feel very welcome at the school. Then she tells Miss Novak that her job is to change the way kids eat.
To the parents' board that the children improve their nutrition skills. And conscious eating seems to be the latest thing. I'm so happy we found you.
And I am very happy to be here.
The second person is grateful for the trust and tells the director that the kids are safe with her. Ragna is eating with her parents at home when the scene changes. Her mom tells her to watch her weight and not eat too much. When Ragna hears this, she feels hurt, but her father quickly reassures her that her mother didn't mean it in a negative way. She only thinks you're fat, honey. Then he asks her what she learned about mindful eating. Ragna demonstrates to her parents how to breathe. After that, we see Elsa eating lunch with her kids. Dad scolds her for not eating like her mom does, but Elsa tells him that she's just practicing what she learned at school, which is conscious eating. At the same time, we see her mom feeding all of her food to a dog. Elsa quickly goes to the bathroom and throws up what she just ate after a few bites. Mom sees her do it, but she doesn't say anything and walks away. When Miss Novak approaches him, Fred is eating lunch by himself somewhere else at school. After that, she takes him to her office, which has a small shrine. They sit in front of the shrine and do mental exercises to help them learn how to eat more mindfully. Fred, please pray with me. Say prayers to the bulimia god. During the next club meeting, Fred talks about how he's been eating less lately, which has given him a lot more energy. He says that the changes also let him lower the amount of insulin he took. Miss Novak is glad to hear this, and she tells them that when they fast, their bodies go through a process called autophagy. During this process, the body gets energy from its own cells, which she says is very beneficial. She stresses that autophagy can make you feel less tired, heal illnesses, and maybe even add 10 to 20 years to your life. The scene then changes to Elsa studying in the library. She talks to Miss Novak, and the two of them go for a walk. This is when Elsa's teacher tells her how amazing it is that she has strong willpower and can control her body. She says she wishes she didn't have any food in her body at all, but her father makes her eat. Miss Novak replies that people don't like individuals who don't eat because it makes them feel unsafe. She goes on to say that most people don't know what they can do and think wrongly that they need to eat every day to stay alive. Eleanor, Helen, and Ragna eat potato pieces for lunch in a different scene. Ragna eats 3 pieces because she can't stop herself. Helen and Elsa each eat only 1 piece. Oh dear fuck. Following this, she feels awful and goes to the bathroom to throw up the food.
It's my own fault. I'm so hungry. You just need to work on yourself. I'm sure you can do it.
We should tell Miss Novak.
Her friends tell her she needs to be more responsible, and she says she's sorry. Later, Ragna tells Miss Novak that she feels awful about eating too much. The teacher tells her it's okay to fall down sometimes and gives her herbal tea to help her feel full. In the next scene, Fred talks to his parents, who live in a different country. He really wants to see them and asks if he can. But right away, they say no and tell him he needs to finish school first. Fred gets upset and hangs up the phone.
Your father's right, Fred. And anyway, it gets really hot here.
He then goes to dance practice, but he can't focus. His dance teacher asks Fred what happened when she saw something was wrong, but Fred doesn't answer. He tells Miss Novak that his parents do not appear to care about him. The boy's teacher really feels awful for him, so she tells him he's not alone. Because I like food? Nah, not at all. Food is harmful for you. The next day, she meets with the principal, who asks her how things are going with the kids. Miss Novak replies that everyone is fine except Ben, who doesn't seem to be following the rules. The principal tells the class that Ben is one of the smartest kids and has asked for a full scholarship. She also says that he only has one mother and that his father died a long time ago. Miss Novak knows what's going on, but she won't give him the award score until he improves. Later, the director calls Ben in for a conversation. She tells him to pay attention in nutrition class. He could lose his scholarship if he doesn't. Later in class, Miss Novak asks Ben why he hasn't been careful about what he eats like she told him to. He tells her that he's worried that he won't be able to focus on his work. But Miss Novak tells him that this story is just a myth, and that the truth is very different. When Ben hears this, he finally tells her that he doesn't want to let her down, because she works hard to cook for him. She then tells him that he shouldn't live his life just to please other people. Also, he should care less about what his mother wants, and more about himself. Ben is surprised by how her words move him, and he says he will change the way he eats from now on. In the next scene, Ben is at home, and his mom is making him a tasty steak. She tells him that he shouldn't go without food just to get a scholarship when he doesn't want to eat. Mom says he might be able to go to a different school instead. Ben says he doesn't want to quit though, because he thinks eating less is beneficial for him. This makes his mother sad, but she tells him not to push himself too far. The next day, Miss Novak tells Ragna and Elsa how wonderful their progress is. Food-free people from around the world live at Club Zero. Their site is still active, but they are all dead. She says that this is a secret because most people aren't ready to know about it. When they ask Miss Novak if this is possible, she says that she is also a member of Club Zero. I'm happy to hear this. The girls want to participate. In the evening, Fred and Miss Novak have a wonderful time at an opera theater. They are different ages, but they seem to like each other. At a different meeting the next day, Miss Novak tells the group to stop eating and talks about how it will help their minds and bodies. They are also required to hold hands and sing an unfamiliar verse. After this, the students stop eating altogether and come up with different reasons not to eat. When their parents hear about this, they become concerned. One day, Ben's mom comes to school and says she is worried about how Miss Novak is using her son. The director, on the other hand, says that the kids are just practicing mindful eating and not actually going hungry. She tells them that Miss Novak is a wonderful teacher who would never hurt her children. The principal goes to the cafeteria to check on the kids after they talk. Ben and his friends then pretend to be joyful in front of her, playing with the food as if they were eating it. The principal leaves, happy, unaware that her students later throw away their food. Ben tries to wake Fred up one morning but finds him asleep. He immediately contacts the police, and they transport Fred to the hospital. It turns out he stopped taking his insulin, which made his diabetes worse. His father also shows up and talks to the headmaster about his son's health. The director says she didn't know Fred wasn't getting his insulin shots. The father understands that it's not her fault, yet he urges her to monitor Fred, who has significantly lost weight and is extremely frail. In the next scene, the dance teacher tells the director that he saw Miss Novak out with Fred. He says it will be a big deal if Fred's parents find out. The news stories will say that Fred is only eating his teacher. Later, the school's staff meets, and everyone agrees that it's not okay for a teacher to meet with a student alone outside of school. Nothing. They also talk about how the kids seem to have eating problems now that Miss Novak is there. Then, as a group, they decide to kick her out of school before things get worse. Following this, the principal talks with Miss Novak and fires her for being involved with a student. The second one doesn't try to protect herself and just storms off in anger. She then goes to her shrine and calls it an almighty mother. Miss Novak claims that her all-powerful mother left her this way. She says she's almost at her goal and doesn't want to give up. Fred and Miss Novak meet up afterward, and Fred asks her if he still trusts her. She kisses him out of nowhere when he says, yes. The scene then changes to Elsa's house, where she is trying to eat less to stay away from food. Elsa's mom appears to be feeding the dog again. When Elsa's dad sees this, he gets upset and makes her eat a piece of sausage. "You kids, eat the sausage." "Now come on." She agrees grudgingly, but she quickly runs to the bathroom to throw up. But we see Ben and Ragna at home, and neither of them wants to eat. Elsa's parents bring her food the next morning, but she goes on to give a speech about overconsumption. She claims that the human body doesn't require food, and that her desire is all she needs to stay alive. After persistent encouragement from her parents, she finally consumed some food. However, she throws up everything after eating it, which infuriates her parents. Later, the parents of these brainwashed kids get together to talk about what happened. The only person who can get the kids to change their minds is Ms. Novak, so they think about calling her. Because she knows how cunning that woman is, Ben's mother doesn't want this to happen. The others feel the same way, but they're also afraid that their kids will die if they don't start eating soon. The parents drop off their kids at Ms. Novak's house after spending a while with them. That makes sense. Ellen is on holiday in Switzerland, so only Fred, Ben, Ragna, and Elsa have shown up. When they start to talk about how strong and healthy they feel, they all look very weak and pale. Ms. Novak tells them that as a reward for their excellent behavior, they are now ready to join Club Zero and live forever there. She tells them they're free from society and their parents' stress. If they become Instagram stars, a lot of beneficial companies will come their way. Fred goes to Ben's house in the evening to spend Christmas with his family. The boys don't hesitate to eat the tasty food that Ben's mother makes for them. On the other hand, we see Ragna and Elsa eating happily with their parents. The next morning, when the parents go to wake up their kids, they are nowhere in sight. The teens wrote a letter saying that things are better for them now. They also tell their parents to stop looking for them because it's pointless. Another scene depicts Ms. Novak leading the four to a vast open field. After that, they gather in a circle and clasp hands to perform a ritual. In the last scene, the parents have an important meeting at the school. Helen has also come back from her trip and joined the group. Her worried parents ask her what went on in those nutrition lessons. They don't know where Ms. Novak took their kids, or if they are still living. Helen, on the other hand, supports her teacher and tells her parents that they are the ones who will die. At the film's conclusion, she directs her gaze towards the camera and assures them of their salvation, albeit contingent on their belief. Don't miss a single moment of creativity. Subscribe to the channel now to join our community of enthusiasts. The video is over. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you next episode.